Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your very late, very gay host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How you doing, guys? Woo! How are you? Sorry, I'm actually, like, today I was not just casually normal Rekieta Law late. I was actually much later than even normal, which is embarrassing. And I apologize for that. Trying to get ready for this Philly trip. Lady Rackets and I have to do tomorrow before we leave for Philly, and we had to get all that shit ready tonight. We both teach at our homeschool co-op, and my lesson plan for tomorrow is easy. Her lesson plan is much more complicated. I had to make a bunch of photocopies and find a bunch of crayons because she teaches younger kids, whereas I teach high schoolers. So mine is simple, man. But I do apologize for being late. What's up, Raiders from Good Logic? How you doing? Oh my goodness. So, to those of you who are going to see me in Philly, I cannot fucking wait. Frankly, guys, I need this trip. I've been just way behind on everything here at home and on the show. I'm sure you guys have noticed, had to cancel a couple shows lately because things have just been fucking crazy. And I need to step out for a minute. So I'm really looking forward to the trip. Gonna have a very good time there. Laugh, meet people, drink, do a comedy show, all of those fun things. Hang out with you if you're there. We'll be out and about in Philly. So come grab a drink with us. If you want to see the show, you have to have a ticket, and I believe they're sold out. So that's a rough spot to be in. But I know many of you do have tickets. So, whew. How's it going, chat? Yesterday and today have been absolute whirlwinds for me. It was tax day yesterday. Tax day. I was reflecting on taxes. So if you don't know the way income tax got implemented, it was implemented around the time of World War I. And the excuse was a small tax on the top income earners for a very short amount of time to fund the war effort. What that turned into was a constitutional amendment that allowed something that our founders abhorred. The idea of a direct tax on effectively existence. Because the income tax, if you don't know, we all probably violate the income tax. I mean, if someone gives you $10 for anything that you do, for any exchange at all, anything other than the pure kindness, well, no, even the pure kindness of your heart, it's technically income. Now, it may not be taxable if it's a gift, but to be a gift, it has to be literally detached from any expectation. So if you're like, oh yeah, someone's like, hey man, you got a cigarette? I'll pay you 50 cents. They give you 50 cents for a cigarette. Income, baby. You just worked. Our founders were allergic to the idea that the usage of labor should be taxed. They were allergic to the idea that the government had some sort of control or input over you producing income from your hands. They believed certainly in consumption taxes. Consumption taxes were common at the time. We know that they had consumption taxes. One of the big criticisms of the founders is, they revolted over the tea tax, but then immediately implemented a tea tax of their own when we formed our own country. But the trick was, it wasn't just about no taxation in general, right? We were opposed to taxation from the crown across the sea, which did not give us legislative input. It was taxation without representation. Now, I personally am generally opposed to all taxes now, all of them, because the government implements all of them. It does not know how to contain and control itself or constrain itself to a reasonable amount of taxation. If you're just taxing consumption, we could talk about it. We could talk about that. That was the vision of this great nation. It was the idea that you had a say in your taxation. If you produced stuff on your own and sold it, no one could touch you tax-wise. You had your property tax, maybe, which would be a local tax. And that property tax paid for local infrastructure. It paid for local police, local fire, eventually local ambulance and hospital services, things like that. It paid for utilities. Not anymore. Now you pay those extra, right? Right? It paid for the post office. The post office was one of the reasons that infrastructure was actually part of the purview of the federal government. The idea that we would have a functioning postage system. But this is all funded on transactional taxes, either on import taxes, export taxes, excise taxes on various goods that were outside of normal. They would either be considered recreational or luxury. Taxes were always connected to the government enforcement of a contract of some sort. You were paying for the functional protection of your rights in a contract. That's why sales taxes exist, because if you pay someone for a service or a good that is, and then theoretically you pay the sales tax on that, what you're paying for is the system that will enforce the contractual obligation between the two of you. Oh, wait, what's up? Joe from Good Logic and his viewers have now raided. Someone said they were here earlier, but that was a pre-cum Joe raid. Now we're in the actual Joe raid. There we go. But again, the entire purpose of that was that you funded the minimalist government that we had, and the government's main job was to enforce the rule of contract between two people, the right of them to freely contract with each other. To get the income tax, they had to wait until something like 80 years after the founders were dead, because they were probably afraid the founders would rise out of the fucking grave and kill them for implementing an income tax. The thing that we were not supposed to have is the thing they did. And what it grew from was this tiny tax. It was like a 6% tax on the top 1% of income earners, or maybe the top 10%, to now a bloated monstrosity of a tax code that is over 80,000 pages long, for the ability to imprison anyone at any time, for the government to exercise control over everyone, because it's almost impossible to be in compliance with every aspect of the tax code. And the worst part is, when you contact the IRS and ask them for a clear answer on a provision of the tax code, they often can't even give it to you. And so tax attorneys, accountants, tax strategists are left guessing are left potentially exposing their clients to federal criminal charges merely to try and comply with the government rules. Not trying to evade them, trying to comply with them. They have made a system that is so on its face offensively expensive that you must pursue to reasonably protect yourself. You must pursue every reasonable deduction you can, because the money that you earn is the product of your labor. It is a reflection of your value to society and to those around you. It is, in essence, the outpouring of oneself manifest into the ability to trade. And for that to be taken from you, to take the product of your labor, to take a portion of your toils away, is to put you into servitude for that toil. Servitude to a government. And oftentimes the government will still extra tax the product of your labor when you sell it, when you trade it, when you try and turn it into something more. Yet they profess to be opposed to double taxation. We know that's not true. They're happily double taxing you constantly. And don't even get me started on the estate tax, or more appropriately called the death tax. The idea that the government has some facilitating interest in your demise to tax you again is even more offensive. But yesterday was tax day. The other nefarious part of this is that the government has created a system which incentivizes the tax structure that we have to basically a majority of Americans. Now, it doesn't practically work out that way, right? There are people who get money back from the tax system who don't believe in the tax system, and they should. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you shouldn't take a deduction or a credit or whatever on principle. The government doesn't operate on principle for you. You don't owe it a principled stance of, well, I'm opposed to this. No, get yours from the government always. Get yours, because they will get theirs. They will do it. But they've incentivized people to support this system, and many people benefit from the tax system. And I don't mean they don't have to pay as much taxes. I mean they directly receive more income from the government through taxes. I used to be in that category. One great way to do it is to have a boatload of kids and a job that pays just enough. That pays just enough. If you have your job income scheduled out the exact right way and you have 4 or 5 kids, you can add 25% to 30% of your income in a tax credit that just is a check written to you. It's amazing. It's amazing. All you have to do is earn a little bit of money, but not too much. Because if you earn too much, you don't get it, right? The government has incentivized this. This system is not stupidly created. It's very brilliantly created to ensure that a large percentage of people, a massive percentage of people, will vote for the system to remain in place, because to take it away, to change it, they say would be fundamentally unfair to them. The idea that a low-income person might have to pay a tax is something that is bandied about as the most horrific thing ever. My question to you is this: if it is horrific for a low-income earner to pay tax, why is it not horrific for a high-income earner to pay tax? Of course it is, but classism is the weapon of the government. Classism is the weapon of the elite. It is how the elite, who are often find themselves immune from these laws because they don't take an income, for example. They grow their wealth dramatically. They spend massive amounts of money, but they don't take an actual income. They take income when it's advantageous to do so. They take income after they record a massive loss, and they can offset it because they don't need money day to day like a normal person does. Their bills are paid for. Their bills can be paid for by a company sometimes, right? Oh, your housing, oh, that's provided by the company. Oh, your groceries, those are provided by the company. Your car, plane, it's all the company's stuff. You don't get paid anything. You just work for free because you're Tim Cook or whatever. He doesn't work too hard anymore, I don't think. I think Tim Cook's not putting in much labor these days. I hate tax day with an unbridled passion. Tax day is the day where one, I pay an absurd amount to the government, and I would contend that so do you. Any amount that you pay in to the government for income is absurd. It's absurd on its face because it took an amendment to make it happen. The Constitution forbade the idea of paying an income tax. But tax day is also the day when we should all examine how much representation we actually have. Do you feel represented in your government right now? I live in Minnesota. I do not. I do not feel represented in my views in this government. And it's crazy to consider that our founding fathers would have stood for the system that exists today. It's unreal. They definitely would not have. They literally went to war over an abusive tax system that was far less abusive than today. Anyway, I fucking hate it. I hate it. But it's fine, guys. It's we have this department now. It's called the IRS. And they employ hundreds of thousands of people. And if we got rid of it, what would they do? What would they do? Let's see. RP Game says, as a 100% disabled veteran, I appreciate those that are paying, since I doubt the government would find the money to pay my pension without you. They'd print it, brother. They'd print it for your vote. They would. And the government should pay disabled veterans, right? That is part of what the government should do. That is an obligation that the government should have to those who serve the country. I have no problem with the government paying a disabled veteran or an abled veteran. We conscript people into service of the country. We should compensate them for that. That has long been a part of civilized government. You either have a private army or a publicly funded army, one of those two. But you have to pay your soldiers. You can't expect them to go lay down their lives, to set aside their lives for a while, to possibly die in service for no pay. That would be insane. Question I have is why we pay Congress so damn much. But that's me. All right. All taxation is theft. Every single penny of it is theft. At some point, we may consent to a portion of our whatever being taxed. I don't remember consenting to any of this. I don't think any of us did. I don't think our parents did. And even when we have politicians bent on rolling back taxes, reducing the tax burden, repealing some taxes, it never seems to actually go down very much. But anyway, it eats so much productivity every year as well. I mean, the amount of labor that goes into the tax paying system is unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. But what is my feeling on Congress voting themselves a raise? Only if it's them raising themselves on the gallows. That's the only raise they should be voted in. Congress does not deserve a raise. Congress gets paid far too much. A junior congressman, a first-term House of Representatives person gets paid $183,000 a year, plus full medical, full dental, typically an allowance for travel, an allowance for meals while they're in Washington, and an allowance for housing in Washington, D.C., of course, because, they've got their house wherever else, but then they get, they have to have a place in Washington, D.C., and it has to be really fucking nice. It's insane. It's insane. All right. I'm feeling too gloomy talking about taxes. And so I want to be done with it, but I had to get it off my chest. I meant to do a tax rant yesterday, but yesterday did not work out for me for streaming. So, you got it today. But I legitimately despise the tax system. I always have, by the way. Even when I got money out of it, I hated taxes. I hated doing taxes. I hated the idea that the government was going to give me money for something. Like what? They're buying you. They're buying the vote. Yet they do. And we allow it to happen. Chichunia says, you bitched out yesterday. I did. But I'm here today. I really didn't want to bitch out yesterday, but it just was not. It was not going to happen. It was not going to happen. Okay. All right. We've got some super chats, and then we're going to get into some other topics tonight. Fox has settled with Dominion for a massive amount of money. Fox was sued for like $1.4 billion. They settled for roughly half of it, $785 million, something like that. So we're going to talk about that and my thoughts on it a little bit. I'll tell you what, I guess my opinion of what Fox gets out of it, what Dominion gets out of it, because it is a settlement, so it is effectively a compromise. It's an insane settlement. Good on Dominion, I guess, for squeezing out all that money at Fox. Hopefully for Fox, this doesn't bury their news network into the dirt like it should. But we'll talk about that. Alvin Bragg gets snubbed by the Court of Appeals. I was reading. I was gonna do a story the other day about how there's some suck off piece for Bragg. Bragg is the Manhattan attorney prosecuting Trump, if you don't know. There was a suck off puff piece of Bragg about how smart he was taking the fight to Congress because he sued who was it? Jim Jordan, I think. Anyway, someone subpoenaed Bragg's predecessor. And I can't remember his name, but we'll pull it up. We'll pull up the story. But and Congress subpoenaed him to answer some questions about this Trump probe. What Bragg did was he sued them to try and get the court to step in and say no, to quash the appeal or to quash the subpoena and say you can't come in. The court said, nah, he can be subpoenaed. Fuck you. But this puff piece I was reading was like, Alvin Bragg knows how to do this. He knows how to fight Congress because he was doing it before, and they've got the game plan, and it's really brilliant. And they lost. So that's funny. We'll talk about that in a little bit. What else did I have? I had something else. This abortion drug thing, mifepristone or whatever. It's the abortion pill that is not the morning after pill. It's not Plan B or whatever. That's RU 486 or something. Sounds like a shitty old George Lucas movie. No, mifepristone is some people call it a medical abortion. Other people call it a chemical abortion. It is a pill that you can take up to 10 weeks into a pregnancy, and it will medically terminate the baby. Now, some doctors have sued, alleging that the FDA did not properly review it and kind of just ducked their head away, and they've expanded access to it. So you don't have to go into a clinic. Well, you didn't have to go into a clinic to get this. You could effectively order it online with a virtual visit, kind of like you can for like Viagra and stuff, right? There are places they have doctors that diagnose you as having a baby you don't want online. And it's just a rubber fucking stamp. Mifepristone. I don't know how to say it, but you get it. Mifepristone. Mifepristone. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But these are rubber stamp operations. There's very little actual health concern going on in those places. But, that's how they do it. And that's how it's been since 1996. Well, some doctors have challenged that. And a Trump appointee was like, nope. And he just basically said, no, you don't get the open access to it anymore. You got to go back to a clinic. We got to go back to pre-2016 rules. And then an appeals court agreed with him. It was Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the based Court of Appeals, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. And then now it's gone up to the Supreme Court, and we were supposed to get a ruling on it today, but we did not. Alito pushed it back to Friday. So there will be some sort of ruling on it on Friday. But it's interesting because it's, people are, there's a question. Is an abortion and an abortificant the same thing? Is this an abortificant drug? Is this type of abortificant acceptable? What do we need? I mean, think of what you need to get a prescription for, right? And how hard it is to get it. Like if you need amoxicillin, you have to go to a fucking doctor to get amoxicillin, right? You have to get a basic antibiotic. You have to go in to a doctor. But this one, you can just call in to a helpline and be like, help, I'm infected with baby. And they can send you the pill. And I'm not 100% sure I'm opposed to that within the concept of the system that we have. But it's a weird question, and it's very odd how the FDA has approached this with the way that they approach other drugs. And that's the critical element here. If the FDA was consistent in its approach to medicine, it wouldn't be a big deal. But abortion, yet again, gets this special treatment that you really don't get pretty much anywhere else. And so we're going to talk about that too. I've got some articles, and then we'll eventually get into What the Fuck Wednesday tonight. we'll eventually get into What the Fuck Wednesday tonight and calm down. And then as a reminder, tomorrow I will be traveling, so there will not be a normal show tomorrow night. I don't think I think I'll literally be traveling when the show should start tomorrow, so I don't think that's going to happen. I may do a late night local stream tomorrow when I get to my lodging. I might do that. Otherwise, I'm going to try and do a stream on Friday. I'm going to try and do a stream on Friday. But I don't know. I'm not driving. No, I'm not driving to Philly. I wanted to. I really did want to drive to Philly with Lady Rackets, drive the Mustang kind of across country. But we did not have the time before and after the Philly trip to actually like make the drive work. We did not have the, enough time to do it. So we did have to fly this trip. I think for Nashville, I may be driving. I'm really looking forward to that. I had to get my first oil change on the Mustang today because there's a break-in period. Like you drive 1,000 miles and there's a break-in oil, and then you have to get it changed to the regular oil that you're going to use. This motherfucker takes 11 quarts of oil. It's absurd. But yeah, so just to give a heads up, there will be no stream Thursday. There might be a stream on Friday. I'm going to try and do some locals content over the weekend. I'm talking Rumble stuff here. Then Monday is up in the air on a stream. Tuesday, I think there will be one. Let me see when I get back on Tuesday. I'm going to die in that Mustang. I'll die happy. It's okay. Let me see. Hold on. I'm checking my flight and when I got to... Tuesday's stream is very iffy. Very iffy. I'll be like just getting home at stream time. So I don't know if Tuesday's going to work. Hey, what's up, Alicia? How you doing? Have a safe trip? Well, we're not going to do that. That doesn't sound like a thing I'll do. But okay, let me hit some of these super chats and we'll get into the show. Thank you for indulging my tax hatred. Watch Captain Elaine of the Death Watch. Hey, Nick, just wanted to let you know you've got a package headed your way. Ooh, keep talking dirty to me. Should arrive by the time you get back from Pennsylvania. Make note that in addition to the gift, there'll be a letter inside. Emperor protects brother. Hey, thank you, Watch Captain Elaine of the Death Watch. I appreciate that. Nicholas Cruiser, welcome to paralegal status. Riley Wellborn says, hi, Nick. I would love to hear your perspective of what's happening with the state of Florida and the Disney Reedy Creek situation. I was reading up on it today. It's a fight. It's a fight between Disney and the state. And the problem is I generally hate the state. And I don't want the state to do fucking anything at all. But Disney's been such a bitch lately that I don't feel bad about it. I just don't feel bad about it. And Disney got this deal where they basically run a county in Florida. They just own it. And they get away with all sorts of bullshit from that. I'm not a huge fan of some gay corporation having special privileges over everybody else either. So it's a funny battle between two entities that I hate. I hope they both lose somehow. But of state governments, I mean, Florida's isn't as bad as Minnesota's, so that's nice. Should have Legal Mindset on to talk about that. Yeah, I would love to. And maybe when I get back from Philly, we can do a show with Legal Mindset. I love talking to him. He's a great dude, and he knows a lot about that Reedy Creek, whatever the fuck it's called, the Reedy Creek Land Development or whatever. In fact, I've had him on before to talk about it. He's very knowledgeable of the subject. He's from the area, knows a lot about it. So maybe we'll get a good discussion in with him. Timothy 208 says, I paid $500,000 in 2014 and 15 for corporate taxes. I definitely saw a difference in policy when it came to small businesses from administration to administration. I bet you did. I bet you did. Fuck me. $500K a year in corporate taxes. Sally 78 says, please shill my channel. It is only a week old. Description of the picture. Thank you for watching, guys. Sally from Locals has a YouTube channel called Talk with Sally. You can go to youtube.com/@Talk with Sally. Check her out. Sally is delightful. She's been a big poster in my Locals for a long time. I got to meet her in Vegas, and she is a bundle of energy, wisdom, and positivity. She's very, very cool, very fun to hang out with. And guys, go check her out. She's one of the most well-meaning people I've ever met. So she's fantastic. In the description, she wants me to read it here. It says, hi, I'm Sally. Welcome to my channel. Just like your hobbies, this page is meant to be enjoyed. From discovering unique coin varieties to growing your garden with simple tricks and even exploring movement with exercise techniques, here we give grace, learn by mistakes, and prove that practice makes perfect. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, total positivity from Sally. She's fantastic. All right. So thank you, Sally, for that. And I wish you tons of luck and tons of good fortune on your YouTube channel. Where was I? Yes. JR Foster, 1999 says, Nick, I sent you an email a little bit ago about a GoFundMe we have set up for my mother-in-law. That said, can I get a toast to my mother-in-law, Belinda? She left this world on 3/22/23, a month before her 61st birthday. Yes, you can. And in honor of that toast, I'm going to open a new bottle of whiskey that I've never tried before, but I'm really looking forward to. I got it yesterday, I think. I've been raving about this Penelope bourbon. This barrel strength Penelope bourbon. Well, the liquor store that I go to got 3 new to me, kinds of Penelope. I only got this one, though. I didn't buy all 3 yet, but this is Penelope toasted bourbon. It's got a heavy toast on it. It's 100 proof. The other one's 112 proof or something. So we're going to try this. Ah! I'm terrible at opening this. Come on. Oh my God. There we go. Oh, that smells good. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and guys, for the Locals after stream tonight, it's been really rainy. There was a thunderstorm here earlier. If the thunderstorm is clear, I'm hitting the hot tub because it's still cold out. Last time I was in the hot tub, it was warm. It's kind of overheating. But it's cold outside tonight. So if it's not raining and thunderstorming, I'll be in the hot tub tonight on Locals. Otherwise, we'll do something else. Should be fun. Okay. Let's see. Okay, where was I? Belinda. A toast to Belinda. Oh man, 60 years old. 60 years old is not enough life for most people. For most people, 60 years old is not what we consider the end of life. We consider it middle-aged, right? It's a little past the middle, but we hope that there are many more years ahead of us. But it seems that Belinda has left quite an impact in the fact that her son-in-law is offering a toast. And I personally, I love my mother-in-law. She's fantastic. And I'm always encouraged to see that other people are fond of theirs as well. And I always take that as a testament to the woman Belinda must have been. Cheers to her. May she rest in peace, free from pain, and may her family only have positive memories of her and pass on the strength of her character to the next generations. That's a good fucking whiskey. That's a good whiskey. I like it. Whew. Very good. David Bright, thank you for the super chat as well. The Field says the progressive era has been an unmitigated disaster for American culture and governance. Oh yeah, the progressive era can eat shit. It can eat shit. And I know everybody likes Teddy Roosevelt, but Teddy Roosevelt was one of the biggest harbingers of the progressive era, followed by Woodrow fucking Wilson. Garbage. Blue Varo says, how have you been enjoying the bipolar weather in the upper Midwest? I hate it. I hope it dies. It's terrible. The Squid says, could Disney have to move locations if DeSantis decided to have an elementary school built next to Disney properties? I hope so. Fuck. We got a couple more chats, 2 more chats, and then we're in. Piccolovian says, Nick, will you give a toast to my newborn son and his mother? They had to have an emergency C-section, but they are both healthy and happy. She is my rock, and he is my pride and joy. Yes, to your wife and your newborn son. Those are always scary. Of course, emergency C-sections are terrifying, but doctors are very good at them now, and hospitals are very capable of handling them. I'm glad to hear that everyone is healthy and happy, and may you have fun getting to know that little life that's been growing. White guy named Tyrone. Can I get a toast for my mother who died from breast cancer 11 years ago? She was a loving person who loved everyone, was loved by everyone. Thanks, Mom, for being there when I needed you. Yeah, man. To white guy named Tyrone's mom. He said it, man. What else is there to say? Loved everyone, loved by everyone, taken by breast cancer, fought it to a stalemate, so to speak. And taken entirely too soon, as anyone dying from cancer is. May one day we eradicate that fucking ailment from the planet. What's up, Cedar Rose? How you doing? And Lady Law 579, thank you for the super chat. Lady Law, I've seen you on Twitter chatting with Kyle Bogue. We have to talk sometime. That would be fun. Okay. All right, let me get into this. I know I've been dallying. Sorry, guys. I'm not that sorry about it. Let's get into this Fox thing. Man, that is some toasty liquor. That's good. All right, here we go. Fox settles the Dominion lawsuit for $787.5 million over U.S. election lies. That's right. That's right. Fox News apparently lied about Dominion in 2020's election. Yeah, tons of lies about that. And, Dominion sued him. They sued him for it. Along with, they've also sued, I think, Lynn Wood and Sidney Watson and stuff like that. But Fox is the first case to be resolved. And this case has been unfolding in massive fashion. Recently, it's actually been kind of hard to keep up with because of all the shit that's happened. But Dominion effectively won this lawsuit a while back at summary judgment. So I know a lot of people are critical of Fox for settling this lawsuit, but if I'm not mistaken, effectively, the judge had already ruled the things that Fox had published as defamatory. at summary judgment. And they were basically going into the damages phase, in which Dominion was going to have Rupert Murdoch, Tucker Carlson, and other people deposed. And then they would be pushing for that $1.4 billion or more payout that they were looking for. Fox decided to settle it out rather than, leave that to a jury. Because imagine the jury you get. Not Sydney Watson. Sydney, what's her last name? The Kraken lady, not Sydney Watson. I'm sorry. Sydney Watson's way different. Sydney, I haven't talked about her for fucking ever. I can't remember her last name. Powell. Thank you, Ryan, the editor. Sydney Powell, the drafter of some really not great lawsuits in 2020. Whew. Too many Sydneys. All of them are fake, right? Sydney Watson, fake because she's from Australia. Sydney, Australia, fake because it's in Australia. Sydney Powell, fake because it's kind of weird. She had that blank, vacant stare. Anyway, so several people have been sued by Dominion because the problem with this is I don't actually see where Dominion suffered the damage that they're claiming. I mean, they're talking about $1.4 billion in damages over this. We don't have any proof that Dominion itself has suffered damages. We didn't get to that phase of the trial. What we would have to show is that Dominion would have been monetarily impacted to the tune of $1.4 billion by maybe their voting machines not being used in the next election because of all the distrust. But as we've been told over and over and over again, not only was there was nothing wrong with the election in 2020. All of the counts were perfect. Not only that, but Dominion specifically was the most perfect, unassailable integrity of voting. I mean, we didn't audit the vote, but you have to understand that it couldn't have possibly gone wrong. Never could it have gone wrong. We didn't verify that it didn't because we didn't need to, because we knew that it didn't go wrong. It was the best election ever. And Dominion ensured that it was the best election ever. And so they sued Fox, and the judge basically gave Fox and Dominion an ultimatum, like, settle or we're going to go into this. And the trial was about to start in the remaining portion. But like I said, Fox has pretty much already lost this case a while back. Let's read this. Fox Corp and Fox News on Tuesday settled a defamation lawsuit by Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million, averting a trial, putting one of the world's top media companies in the crosshairs over its coverage of false vote rigging claims in the 2020 U.S. election. Now, there's a very important factor here. Fox does not make an admission that their coverage had any falsity or lies in it at all. In the settlement, typically, as part of a settlement like this, you would expect some sort of Dominion to extract some sort of admission from Fox that they lied, and I don't think Dominion needed to do that here. I think Dominion winning will be spun as Fox lies by everybody else. Now, if this were NBC, right, and Dominion were a right-wing pollster of some sort, well, then, this would be defended as NBC protects its integrity by settlement, right? Like, that's how this story would be sold if it was anyone other than Fox, CNN, anybody else, and especially if it was some company that was not Dominion, that was more right-leaning. The settlement would be framed as beneficial towards the media company. But since it's Fox Media, and it's Dominion Voting Systems, it's going to be framed in the other way. But Fox doesn't actually make an admission of wrongdoing. They don't retract any statements that they made in the settlement at all. They just pay out, roughly half of what Dominion was asking. Bragg says Dominion held a press conference and said Fox lied and the settlement was proof. Right. Of course they did. It's in their interest to do so. It's in Dominion's interest to frame this as Fox admitting to the lie. It'll be in Fox's interest to say, no, we stood up for our anchors and we paid out rather than have them get deposed or something. To me, it rings hollow of Fox. Very, very hollow of Fox. But let's read on here. The settlement, which legal expert says was the largest struck by an American media company, was announced by two sides and the judge in the case at the 11th hour. But who was the seventh guest? The jury had been selected earlier in the day, and the trial poised for opening statements in Wilmington, Delaware. Dominion sought $1.6 billion in damages in the lawsuit filed in 2021. My bad. I said 1.4. It was 1.6. Oh shit! I've defamed Dominion now. God damn it. Dominion CEO John Poulos called the settlement historic. Quote, Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion that caused enormous damage to my company, our employees, and our customers, Poulos said in a statement. Truthful reporting in the media is essential to our democracy, Poulos said. There's something else in this equation. I don't know if he knows, but there's something else in this equation that is essential to our democracy, which we don't have, you fucking cuck. We have a democratic republic. We have a republic. We don't have a democracy. We have a fucking republic. The other thing is the integrity of the voting system is essential. And our press's right to criticize that integrity should not be subject to a defamation lawsuit, in my humblest opinion. But that being said, let's sally forth, shall we? Okay. At issue in the lawsuit was whether Fox was liable for airing the false claims that Denver-based Dominion's ballot counting machines were used to manipulate the presidential election in favor of Democrat Joe Biden over then President Donald Trump, a Republican. And of course, if you thought that Dominion was going to lose this lawsuit, then I don't know what system you had faith in the first place, but I would like some of whatever you had. It should have been thrown out, in my opinion, at least as far as Fox is concerned, because their commentators get to give opinions on things, and those opinions can be wrong. The question is, are they knowing falsehoods that cause damage to Dominion? Did they know? I mean, maybe they did. Maybe in Discovery, Dominion got a bunch of transcripts from like Sean Hannity saying, look, Dominion's a great American. We know that they didn't do anything wrong, but we're going to say it anyway. Maybe they did that. Whip a titty out? Oh, shit. On locals. Oh, gosh. You almost fooled me into it. Good Lord. But I mean, this type of defamation lawsuit should be the actual highest bar possible. It should be the hardest one to win because it contains, obviously, a matter of the most public concern. Dominion is one of the most publicly, should be one of the most publicly talked about companies. That is a government contractor for the purposes of the election. They should almost be libel proof, in all honesty. There should be basically no way that you can defame Dominion. How can you defame that which is quintessentially government? If someone wants to say, I think Dominion cheated, like, why would we ever be able to stop them from having that opinion? I mean, it is a cornerstone of our ability to question of our rights, to the ability to question our government. And Dominion is acting on behalf of the government in a capacity that is typically held by government. Dominion is definitely a quasi-state actor here. They have to be. They're facilitating the vote. The vote would normally be the purview of the government. They have outsourced it to a third-party company, and that third-party company would then be subject to the same constitutional scrutiny that the government itself would, in theory. So why do they get this special treatment? Why do they fucking get this? I don't understand. I mean, I kind of understand why they get it, but conceptually they shouldn't. Right? Like they should not get this. But they do. They do. They get this protection. But it just bothers me because we're supposed to, like, this is supposed to be the highest order of protected speech. Criticizing the vote is the most American right we could possibly have. It is everything that the First Amendment was designed to protect, and not just for the news and not just for the individual speaker, but for everybody. Dominion gets, Dominion must be protected. Of course, Dominion must be protected, right? Because they're going to be facilitating the vote in 2024. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. What do we got here? Let's see. Tuesday's settlement spared Fox the peril of having some of its best-known figures called to the witness stand and subjected to potentially withering questioning, including executives such as Rupert Murdoch, the 92-year-old who serves as Fox Corp chairman, as well as on-air host Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Jeanine Pirro. I like Tucker. I never really liked Hannity that much. Do you guys like Hannity? He's a super boomer. Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine, I don't know. Fox anchor Neil Cavuto broke into his news show Your World about 4:30 p.m. Eastern time to report the settlement. A statement by Fox was read on air. Quote, "We are pleased to have reached a settlement of our dispute with Dominion Voting Systems." Oh, you're pleased to pay them $787 million. Sure you are. "We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. This settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. We're hopeful that our decision to resolve this dispute with Dominion amicably instead of the acrimony of a divisive trial allows the country to move forward from these issues." All right. I'm going to tell you what I think about that statement on Rumble. But first, we need to have a brief word from cbdistillery.com. Guys, look, if you are dealing with bullshit in your life, like that statement from, I mean, like hypothetically some other statement, cbdistillery.com has got you covered. cbdistillery.com has got you covered. And right now, they're having their biggest sale of the year. Right now, you can get up to 50% off of everything. Look, if you've struggled with sleep, stress, or pain after physical activity, cbdistillery.com has a targeted plant-powered solution just for you. That plant, of course, is the hemp plant, which in 2015 was legalized under the Industrial Hemp Act. It's different from cannabis sativa or cannabis indica, right? It's a different strand of cannabis that does not have significant amounts of THC in it. But it does have CBD cannabinoids, I think cannabinoids, whatever they are, which have, for some people have been shown to have healing properties, pain relief, stress reduction, just an overall balancing effect. I love hearing how many of you have seen improvement in your daily life thanks to CBD. They've got a script for me to read. So if better sleep, more calm, and relief from discomfort after physical activity sounds good, you should explore CBD. Look, guys, I'm reading a script, obviously. They sent it. They have a special. I don't normally do scripts, but this is a special that they have going on. It's 50% off. So they got the thing. I get it. Here's the deal. If you want to sleep better, if you have trouble getting to sleep, try these. Try these. These are the Sleep Synergy CBD CBN gummies. When I tried it, they knocked me out in like 20 minutes. Like I was standing up on a local stream and I was like, holy fuck, I got to go. They knocked me out. They're elderberry flavored. It's actually elderberry and weed flavor. So it's kind of like chewing on marijuana and elderberries, but you get over it pretty quick. You can just suck it down and then drink something, please. Help yourself. It's not the best tasting thing in the world, but it does the fucking job. It gets you tired. It gets you ready for bed really quickly. If you have trouble getting to sleep, and I know many of you do because you watch this show. The other one I've got is this Daytime Synergy. This is a tincture. It goes under your tongue, and it just kind of boosts overall mood and energy and stuff like that. You just put a dropper of that on there. The other day I did a dropper of that and chased it with whiskey. Don't do that. Do not do that. Not good. Not good on that one. But the Daytime Synergy stuff, again, it boosts your overall mood and it boosts your, like, CBD has tons of effects. It boosts blood flow. It boosts all sorts of shit. I'm not the FDA and I'm not the company. You can check out the healing powers of CBD on their website. But really, like, the one I can definitely advocate for the most is this sleep one because it knocks you out. They do have the relief stick as well, which is like a topical CBD stick that you rub where you have soreness. That thing actually works. I like it. If you have muscle aches and pains. Okay, so don't miss this massive sale. Get up to 50% off your order. Visit cbdistillery.com and enter Rumble. That's cbdistillery.com and enter Rumble, cbdistillery.com. Look, promo code KNOWS is my promo code. Normally, that's what I'd want you to use, but you want to use promo code Rumble on this one. And I think it's this week only. You want to do that. Get yourself a big fucking discount, up to 50% off. Try out their products. If you like them, great. If you don't, at least you gave it a shot and you didn't have to spend too much because you got a nice discount on it. All right. Look, you could probably talk to people in your life that have tried CBD. It really does create a positive influence in many people's lives. And if you're looking to try it out, this is the time to do it. David Bright says, what the fuck is up with Fetterman? Sad if you watch the video, what they are doing to him and Feinstein. Weekend at Bernie's, man. Weekend at Bernie's is what they're doing. Jenny LJ, thank you. Thank you. I like this shirt a lot. Actually, it's super fucking comfortable. Okay. Where's the link for essential oils? I don't sell essential oils. All right, here we go. I'm going to read through these YouTube super chats. Won't take too long. We'll pop over to Rumble and then I will give you my unfiltered opinion on the Fox versus Dominion thing. Here we go. Seraph 311 down 45 pounds from 235 to 190. Hell fucking yeah. Would love to be 155 again, but it's getting pretty difficult. Weight isn't falling off like it used to. Maybe 190 pounds at 5'7" isn't so bad for the rest of my life. That is the wrong fucking attitude. If you want to be thinner at 5'7", then 190, which you should be. You should be. I'm thinking 165, 170 might be a target weight for you. I don't know. I haven't been 5'7" in a long time. And when I was, I weighed way less than that because I was a scrawny motherfucker. But 190 is too big for 5'7". And if you have that attitude that maybe it's good enough, then you aren't trying hard enough. Look, of course, your early progress is going to be faster. You're going to cut water weight. You're going to cut fat, but you're going to be converting fat into muscle, which is going to combat the number decreasing. That's okay. That's okay. But stop fucking eating so much. And do not give up on me. If your target weight is 155, get to 155. Your progress is, of course, going to be slower. It's going to slope out, right? As you get closer to your target weight, your progress is going to slow down. That's okay. It's going to be harder and harder to shed those last pounds, but it's going to be worth it because you're going to build a lifestyle around that. You're going to build good habits, healthy eating habits, healthy exercise habits to get to your target weight. And those things are going to benefit you forever. So, Seraph, don't give up. Huntress says, I've had constipoos with better punctuality. Big fan. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I did not mean to be so late today, but things have been kind of hectic around the house as we get ready to go. Corn Pop sent 3 stickers. Thank you. Admiral Nelson, a cop working as a security guard, kicked me out of Home Depot for telling him fuck cops. Do I have any recourse or no? Because he was security at the time. I mean, technically, if he has the authority, if he has the agency of Home Depot to ask you to leave, there's nothing you can do, man. They don't have to have you in there. Unless you're black, then you could claim it was racism. You could try that. Nicholas Cruiser says, yeah, Nick, you fat ass. Thanks. Okay. Oh, Snabbage Dave says 100% disabled veteran and using my GI Bill. Thank you for paying your taxes to support me. Allegan News says, can I get a toast tonight for my cousin Matthew, who had a draw with cancer today? He was the same age as me, 41. Makes me reflect on life. Fuck, that's how old I am. Yeah, of course. I will do a toast. And dude, that mortality is fucking terrifying when it's someone your age and you're like, I'm not old enough to die yet. And then they kick off. You're like, oh shit. Cheers to your cousin Matthew. Allegan News fought cancer to a draw. May he rest free from pain, free from medication, free from treatments, and may his family have relief from the burden that the illness put upon the person that they loved, from the torment that they had to watch rack his body. May he return in their minds and in his spirit to the strength of the person he was before he was afflicted with such a horrible condition. Blue Varro, welcome to Paralegal Status. Kyle Bogue says that thunderstorm is here now. Now I have an 8-year-old sitting here. Who's that guy? Looks like he has the same fun pop Grandpa Bill drank. Uh-oh. Jesus Davila, thank you for the thumbs up. Doug Murray Rackets, what about the guy in the middle? The mulatto, the half voodoo, half Wisconsin, running through the jungle wearing a power blue sweater. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about there. But I want to. I really want to know more about that. Holy shit. Primark Vulcan, House Resolution 44, block on the pistol brace ban just passed the House Special Committee and will now go on to the House. Yeah, the Senate's probably going to cuck on it, unfortunately. Logan McKenna, hey, Nick, I'm interested in your legal perspective on the situation in McCurtain County, Oklahoma. The town officials got O'Keefed by the local paper. Oh, shit. I have no idea what that is. Can you, Logan, can you email me about that? Lofty Pixels Baldo says, Cali peeps get to file taxes on 10/16. Suck it, Nick. Well, so do Minnesota people, sort of. Like, we get an automatic extension in Minnesota. So in Minnesota, you know, it'll automatically extend to the 17th of October. And anybody can file for extension to the 17th of October for the federal government. That's just for filing taxes, though. pretty sure your payment of taxes is still due. It's awful. Legal Layman says, speaking of CBD, Texas is looking to scale back weed restrictions finally, though, for disability based on dose and not on weight. There you go. Yeah, lots of states are looking at it. Minnesota's looking at legalization, and I'm kind of annoyed by it. Like, I don't even like weed. I really don't. I don't care if it should be legalized just because it shouldn't be illegal. But I don't particularly like, if it gets legalized, I don't care. I don't smoke weed. It makes me feel terrible when I do. When I've smoked weed in the past, it makes me feel very out of sorts, very foggy. I can't form, like, people have seen me do gummies on Locals as a gag. I stopped being able to finish the sentence I started because for me, it just fucks me up real quick. I don't like it. But that being said, weed shouldn't be illegal. And it really bothers me that we've accepted this premise that if we legalize something that is currently illegal, we should then have the government tax it. Like, that's our go-to thing. It's like, well, the government could tax it and regulate it. That'll be better. No, that's not better. That's not a better thing. Like, why are we're like, yeah, please legalize it and just please tax us. No, fuck you. Stop taxing us. Stop taxing us. In Minnesota, it's an 8% excise tax on marijuana products, but they're also wrapping in hemp and CBD for some reason, as if those have the same sort of effect, which they clearly don't. I hate it. C says it needs to be completely descheduled. Yes, it needs to be descheduled, and then Congress needs to exert supremacy and say that it can't be taxed as an excise. It cannot be taxed extra, but they won't. They won't do it. They won't do that at all. What type of earbuds am I using? Oh, these are 64 audio custom in-ear monitors. They're very nice. They're wonderful. They're so loud. God, they're fucking great. And they're so clear. Okay, that's it for YouTube, guys. We're going to pop over to Rumble. I'm going to give you my opinion on the Fox thing. We'll talk about Bragg. Talk about the abortion stuff for a minute. We'll do What the Fuck Wednesday. We'll wrap up the show. Obviously, we'll still do unbreaded and stuff like that. But if you want to join over on Rumble, please click the link in the description there on YouTube. Pop over to Rumble. On your way out on YouTube, hit like if you like the stream. I don't know. Some people might have hated the stream. I'm very rambly tonight. I know, guys. I'm all out of sorts getting ready for this thing, and my brain's in 27 different directions. But you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, pop on over to Rumble. And on Rumble, by the way, hit that thumbs up button over there too. Pop in a titty. Oh, titties will be out on Locals. That's what Locals is for. Locals is for all of the nudity that you could ever want. All right, guys, we'll see you over on Rumble, hopefully in 20, 30 seconds or so. If you don't, thank you for watching. I'll see you in a couple days. There will not be a show tomorrow. Please remember. But if you want all of the updates, recadalaw.locals.com will always have updates on what I'm doing. And also people bitching about me not being communicative enough, which they should. You should bitch at me more. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
For the thousands.
Peace. Cheers. Peace.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen,